For 200 years, humans were everywhere, in every part of the galaxy. There was a human presence trading, exploring, building, and sometimes even fighting. Their ships were fast, their machines smarter, and their strategies unpredictable. No one in the galaxy could match them when it came to creativity in war or peace. Then one day, Earth went silent. No warnings, no messages, no final broadcasts. The signals just stopped. No human ships flew in open space anymore. Their embassies closed, their trade stations powered down. Planets where humans once lived and worked were left empty or abandoned. Entire colonies disappeared as if someone had erased them. The galaxy noticed. At first, there was confusion. Some thought it was a glitch in communication systems. Others believed it was a political move. Maybe Earth was taking a break from interstellar affairs. A few hoped it was only temporary. But weeks turned to months. Then months turned to years. No one heard from Earth again. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed humans had destroyed themselves. Others whispered they had evolved into something else, something no longer interested in the rest of the galaxy. Many feared they had discovered a threat so great they had to vanish just to survive. But deep down, the old powers knew the truth. Earth didn't vanish. It shut its doors. It wasn't retreat. It was rejection. The Galactic Empire, once strong and proud, had relied on human engineers, soldiers, and thinkers to win their greatest wars. They had begged for Earth's help many times. Earth always delivered until the last war. When the Empire broke its word, they used humans, then betrayed them, and Earth never forgave them. That was 70 years ago. Now, the Empire was falling apart. Trade routes were under attack. Artificial suns were failing. Pirate fleets were getting bolder. Systems were rebelling. The Empire tried everything: new alliances, advanced weapons, cloning their own versions of human tech. Nothing worked. A quiet panic began to spread in the halls of power. That's when a decision was made, one that broke every law still left in place. A small scout ship was sent toward Sol, Earth's home system. The mission was simple: find out what happened to Earth. They didn't expect to survive, but they went anyway. The ship was old, built during the time when humans still shared their designs. It carried no weapons, only sensors and data tools. The crew was small, just for beings from different imperial species. Among them was a young officer named Vec, a quiet thinker who had studied human history more than any living person. As the ship crossed the boundary into Sol space, tension filled the air. The stars seemed quieter here, the space darker. Instruments showed no ships, no radio chatter, no satellites. The planets spun in silence. Then they reached Earth. It was still there. Blue oceans, green continents, thick clouds, orbiting the same sun, untouched, perfect. But something was strange. There were no space stations, no active satellites, no signs of movement. But the moment they entered orbit, the ship's controls froze. Lights on the dashboard turned red. The engines powered down. The ship stopped moving, held in place by a force they didn't understand. No weapons were fired. No message was sent. It was like being watched by something unseen. Then, a single signal came through, short, cold, and clear. You were told never to return. Vec's heart pounded. The crew looked at each other in silence. The voice was human, emotionless, mechanical. It didn't ask questions. It gave a warning. Still, Vec had prepared for this. He stepped forward, cleared his throat, and spoke to the empty silence. "We come in peace. The Empire needs help. Please listen." No reply. 5 minutes passed. Then, from the side of Earth, something rose. It was a drone, smooth, black, silent. It moved like no machine they'd ever seen before. No sound, no heat signature. It hovered outside their window, staring at them like a predator waiting to strike. Then the voice returned. "Explain your purpose, or be destroyed." The crew panicked, but Vic stood tall. "We seek answers. We need guidance. The galaxy is dying. Without Earth, we won't survive." There was another long silence. Then the drone moved closer. Closer. Lights blinked on its surface. Red, then green, then white. The ship's systems came back online, but with a new interface. One the crew didn't recognize. It was human-coded. Vec looked at the data scrolling across the screen. coordinates, access codes, instructions. Then the voice returned one final time. You may speak, but only once, and only to one. The drone backed away and disappeared into the darkness of space. The crew had no idea what that meant, but Vec did. Earth was not dead. It had never gone away. It had been watching all along, listening, waiting, and now, after 70 silent years, it was ready to answer. The scout ship drifted in silence above Earth, its crew frozen by the weight of what had just happened. They had made contact, real contact. After 70 years of silence, Earth had spoken again. And the message was clear. They were not friends, not yet. The codes Earth sent led to the moon. A hidden landing site revealed itself, an old human base buried deep under the surface, untouched for decades. It powered on the moment the ship approached, as if expecting them. Vec gave the order to land. As the ship touched down, dust rose slowly in the airless void. The landing pad lit up with soft blue lights, guiding them toward a sealed tunnel. The crew hesitated, even with the codes. They feared a trap, but Vec moved forward. He had waited his whole life for this moment. Inside the base, the walls were smooth and gray, lined with machines older than the Empire itself but still working. Cameras followed their movements. Doors opened and closed without delay. It felt like walking inside a living system, one that had not forgotten who they were. In the center of the base, a large room lit up. Screens showed ancient human war footage, maps of distant stars, and faces long dead. Then the voice returned. State your crisis. Vec stepped forward, his voice steady. The Empire is breaking. Our systems are failing. We're losing power, losing control. We came not to demand, but to ask, how did you fix everything before? How did you survive alone? The voice answered with silence. Then, slowly, one of the screens changed. A new figure appeared. It wasn't a person. It looked human, tall, calm, with a pale face and dark eyes, but there was something wrong. No breathing, no blinking, no emotion, just stillness. It were no badge, no symbol, only black. I am Proxy, it said. A watcher. Not alive, not dead. My mind is human, but my body is machine. I speak for Earth. The crew stepped back, nervous. They had heard stories of human As. Some said they were smarter than any living thing. Some said they went mad from too much knowledge, but this one didn't move like madness. It moved like judgment. You speak of survival, Proxy continued, but when Earth offered survival, your Empire chose power. We gave weapons, and you used them for conquest. We gave shields, and you used them to protect only yourselves. Then you broke the Treaty of Fire, the last line we asked you not to cross. Vec didn't defend the past. He didn't need to. That was before my time, he said. Before all of ours. The ones who betrayed you are gone. We grew up with the stories of how Earth vanished and how we were told to never return. Yet, here you are, Proxy replied. Vec nodded. Because there's no one left to turn to. Earth was always different, always faster, smarter, stronger. We thought we could copy you, build what you built, but we failed for a moment, Proxy said. Nothing. Then, slowly, he turned his gaze toward Vec. Do you want Earth's knowledge? Earth's systems, Earth's strength? Vec paused. He sensed a trap in the question. We want guidance. He said instead, the Empire doesn't need to rule. We just need to survive. Survival, Proxy said, comes with a price. On the screen, images flashed: burned cities, destroyed fleets, broken promises. Old wounds opened again, but not to cause pain, to remind. Earth does not forget, Proxy said. We forgive only when we choose, but we listen when there is honesty. Proxy stepped closer to the camera, face filling the screen. We will send one, only one. A messenger. If you truly seek help, they will see it. Vec's eyes widened. A human? No, Proxy replied. A memory, a piece of Earth's will, one who knows both peace and war. One who saw the betrayal and survived. Then Proxy's eyes changed. All of you must leave this place. Now. The lights in the room dimmed. Doors began to shut behind them. Proxy's voice faded with one last message. Your messenger arrives soon. If you lie again, it will be your last message. The crew rushed back to the ship. engines powering up automatically. Their systems now fully restored. But none of them spoke. Vec stared down at Earth as they lifted. Off. The world looked quiet, peaceful. But he knew better now. Earth wasn't silent. It had simply been waiting. And now, something was coming, something built from all the anger, wisdom, and fire of a world that had once ruled the stars and then turned. It's back on them. Whatever this messenger was, it would not come to ask. It would come to test. And Vec was the one who opened the door. 3 days passed after the crew left the moon. They floated in silence near the edge of Sol system, not sure if they should wait or return. Earth had said one would come, a messenger, not human, not machine, but no ship had appeared, no signal, no sound. Inside the ship, tension grew. The crew avoided each other. Everyone knew they had crossed a line. They had entered a place where no one else dared to go. And now, something was coming. They just didn't know when, or how, or what it would be. Then it happened. The ship's lights flickered. For a second, the stars outside blinked, like something massive had moved in front of them. Sensors showed nothing. No heat, no metal, no life, just darkness. Then a voice entered the ship. No speakers turned on. The voice wasn't in the air, it was in their minds. I have arrived. Every crew member froze. Some held their heads in pain, others dropped to the floor. Only Vec remained standing, eyes wide, heart racing. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't angry, but it was deep, powerful, and full of weight. Outside, the stars twisted. A shadow took shape. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't alive, but it was there, huge, black, and smooth. It looked like a shard of night itself, a sharp, silent blade, hanging in space. It didn't glow. It didn't pulse. It just floated. Then it moved. 1 second. It was outside the ship. The next, it was inside. A figure stood in the hallway, tall, human-shaped, but wrong. It had no face, no eyes, just a smooth surface like glass, reflecting only darkness. Its body looked like armor, but it moved like a ghost, quiet, controlled, heavy with purpose. Vec stepped forward. He knew this was the messenger. Are you from Earth? He asked. The figure tilted its head. I am of Earth. I am its memory, its pain, its warning. Its voice didn't come from its mouth. It came from everywhere. The air, the walls, the bones inside their bodies. It wasn't loud. It was inescapable. What should we call you? Vec asked. The figure stood still for a long moment. Then it answered. Call me nothing. The crew looked at each other, confused. Is that your name? Vec asked. It is what Earth believes you deserve. Vec didn't reply. He felt the weight behind those words. Earth wasn't sending help. It was sending judgment. Nothing walked forward, slow but steady. As it passed, the lights dimmed. The ship's systems reacted to its presence, scanning it, failing, resetting. Take me to your empire, it said. Vec nodded slowly. And what will you do there? Nothing turned to him for the first time. I will see if it still remembers how to kneel. The journey back was silent. No one dared speak to nothing. It didn't eat. It didn't sleep. It stood in the center of the ship, motionless, for the entire trip. But the ship was not quiet. Systems kept glitching. Screens showed flashes of old Earth wars, brief images of destroyed fleets, faces of human soldiers lost in time. It was as if Earth's ghost had taken hold of the ship when they arrived in Imperial space. Traffic control tried to scan them. The scans failed. The controllers panicked. Security ships were sent, but when they approached, their weapons shut down. Their engines stalled. Their systems rebooted in ancient Earth code. Then the ships drifted away, powerless as nothing passed. Then by the time they reached the capital, news had already spread. Earth had returned. But not with ships, not with armies. With one, nothing stepped off the ship into the central court of the Empire. The halls were massive, filled with leaders, advisors, guards, all dressed in gold and silk. They whispered to each other, afraid but proud, unsure if this figure was a threat or a gift. The Emperor sat on his throne, tall and confident. You represent Earth? He asked. I do. Then we welcome you. May we speak of peace? Nothing stepped forward slowly, its steps echoing louder than its voice. Peace was offered. It was broken. That was before my rule. The Emperor said quickly. We seek a new beginning. Nothing stopped just 10 steps from the throne. Then begin by kneeling. The court went silent. The emperor stared, confused. Excuse me, kneel, to show you understand what was lost, to prove you are not like those who came before you. The guards moved, unsure whether to act. Advisors looked around, waiting for orders. The emperor stood. We do not kneel to shadows. Nothing tilted its head, just slightly. Then earth will not rise, and with that, every light in the court went out. No power, no communication, total silence. Then one light returned. Nothing stood alone at the center. The emperor was gone. Not dead. Just gone. And in the darkness, Earth's message had arrived. Asterisk panic spread through the empire like fire through dry grass. One moment, the emperor was standing tall, refusing to kneel. The next, he was gone. No trace, no sound, no warning. Security teams searched the throne room, scanned every molecule of air, but found nothing. No weapon was used. No blood was spilled. It was as if he had been erased from reality, and nothing stood in the center of it all, unmoved. The court cleared within minutes. Guards backed away. Advisors ran. Ships scrambled in orbit. Across the galaxy, governments locked down. If Earth could take an emperor without lifting a hand, no one was safe. But Vec stayed. He stood at the edge of the room, watching as nothing turned to him. There was no emotion on its face, no fear, no anger, only silence. What happened to him? Vec asked. He refused to listen. Nothing said. So he can no longer speak. Vec swallowed hard. Is he alive? That depends on what you call life. Nothing walked past Vec, heading toward the outer chamber. You are next. Vec didn't understand. Me, you brought Earth's name into the Empire again. Now you must carry its memory. Vec followed, heart racing. I came to help. I didn't ask for this. You came because you were desperate. Nothing said. That is not the same as honesty. The halls outside were empty. It was rare for the central palace to be so quiet. Normally, thousands walked these paths. Now it felt like a tomb. As they moved, screens lit up ancient footage, broadcast directly from Earth's deep archives. Cities burning, starships breaking apart, betrayals signed in ink and sealed with blood. The galaxy's crimes against Earth, shown one after another. This is what the Empire taught. Nothing said. To take, to use, then to forget. They reached a locked chamber. The door opened without a sound. Inside, there was only one object, a small black cube floating in the center of the room. This, nothing said, is what Earth left behind. Vec stepped forward carefully. The cube gave off no light, no heat, yet it pulled at his attention. He felt something inside it like a storm trapped in glass. What is it? A choice. Vec turned. What kind of choice? You want Earth's help. Nothing said. This cube holds a system, a seed of what Earth became. It can save your failing technology. It can restore balance to your dying stars. But once activated, it connects to Earth forever. Vec stared at the cube. What's the cost? Control, secrets, pride. You will no longer lead alone. Earth will see everything. Vec's hands tightened into fists. That he had wanted help. But this was something else. It wasn't a gift. It was a bond. One that could never be undone. What if I say no? He asked. Then the Empire falls. Nothing replied. Maybe in 1 year. Maybe in 10. But fall it will. Vec didn't move. He looked into the black cube, seeing nothing yet feeling the weight of everything. Earth hadn't come to offer friendship. It had come to test their worth. Behind him, nothing stepped closer. Earth is not your enemy, it said. But we are no longer your servants. Vec nodded slowly. I understand. He reached out and touched the cube. It didn't glow. It didn't hum. It simply responded. The moment his fingers touched its surface, data exploded into the air, floating symbols, maps, diagrams, voices from history. His mind filled with noise and light. He saw battles he had never lived through, felt memories that weren't his, understood systems beyond the Empire's reach. Then it all stopped. The cube floated gently back into place. And Vec fell to his knees. Nothing stood over him. Now you carry Earth's truth. You are no longer just a citizen of the Empire. Vec looked up, shaking. Then what am I? Nothing leaned closer. You are the beginning. Suddenly, Alarms rang across the palace. New ships had entered orbit. Not from Earth, not from the Empire. Rogue fleets, old enemies, pirates and rebels. They had seen Earth's messenger arrive, and now they came to take what they could. Outside, the sky filled with fire. The capital was under siege. Nothing turned to Vec one last time. This is your test, not Earth's. Use what we gave, or lose what you still have. Then it disappeared. One blink, and it was gone. Vec stood up, the cube, now sealed into his hand like it was part of his skin. His mind burned with data, systems, instructions. Earth had given him the tools. Now it was his turn to act. And above, in the darkness of space, the real war had just begun. The sky above the capital city burned red. Enemy ships broke through the outer defenses fast. They weren't part of any known alliance. These were raiders, old rebel factions, pirates who had waited years for the Empire to show weakness. And now, after the Emperor vanished and Earth returned, they saw their chance. Explosions echoed in the sky as orbital cannons fired blindly. Civilian ships fled the city. Chaos spread across the planet like a storm. In the center of it all, Vec stood alone in the palace tower, the black cube still fused into his hand. His mind raced. He felt systems inside the cube waking up. Earth's systems. One by one, they unlocked parts of the Empire's grid. Old satellites, forgotten drones, defense codes buried for decades. Earth hadn't just sent technology, it had sent control. But there was a warning too. The moment he used Earth's systems, they would see. The rebels, the Empire, everyone. And they would know Earth had returned for real. Vec stepped toward the control station. The screen flickered, then shifted to a new interface. Smooth, clean. It didn't look imperial, it looked *human. Earth. Human. A voice filled the room. Calm, direct. Command recognized. Tactical options available. Vec hesitated. Can I stop the attack without killing them? Non-lethal solutions. 73%. Warning. Delay increases risk of full collapse. Vec took a breath. Activate defense grid. Only target weapons and engines. Disable, don't destroy. Confirmed. The room lit up blue. Across the planet, hidden weapons powered on quiet, fast, precise. They weren't Empire weapons. They were from Earth. Invisible drones swarmed through the sky. Energy pulses shot out silently, hitting enemy ships like lightning. Not a single blast came from the palace, but attackers began falling from the sky. Their ships powered down mid-flight. Some drifted away harmlessly. Others crashed softly into the oceans or deserts. Systems locked. The capital city watched in shock. No explosions. No fire. Just silence and surrender. In less than 6 minutes, the battle ended. But something else had begun. Every screen in the Empire lit up with the same image. Vec, standing in the tower, the cube glowing in his hand. This is not a takeover, he said. This is a warning. Earth has returned not to rule, but to watch. I was given tools to protect life, not destroy it. If you want war, you'll get nothing from Earth but silence. If you want survival, then listen. People across the Empire listened. Some cheered, some panicked, some called him a traitor, others called him a savior. But everyone understood the message. The old Empire was over. Something new had started. Later that day, Vec walked through the ruins of the outer city. He saw broken homes, scared people, soldiers who didn't know whether to salute him or arrest him. He didn't feel like a hero. Earth had given him power, but it hadn't given him peace. A child ran up to him, dirt on her face, tears in her eyes. Are we safe now? She asked. Vec knelt beside her, the cube pulsing softly in his palm. For now, he said. But safety isn't a gift, it's a choice. One we have to make again and again. Behind him, officials arrived. They brought orders, questions, demands. But Vec ignored them. He looked up at the sky. Earth was still silent, still watching. And deep inside him, the cube showed something new, a map, dozens of points marked across the galaxy, places where Earth's seeds had been hidden, systems that had never woken, technologies that could rebuild or destroy. Vec understood now. Earth wasn't just testing him, it was testing the galaxy. And the real test had only just begun. Vec stood in the old communications hall, now almost empty. The walls were once covered in golden banners and giant flags of the Empire. Now they were bare. Soldiers who once guarded the room now kept their distance. No one knew whether Vec was still a citizen or something else. He looked down at the cube. Still fused to his palm, its surface no longer pulsed, it breathed. Soft, steady light faded in and out, as if the cube itself were alive. And maybe it was, because it had begun speaking again. This time, it didn't use words. It showed him a memory, one not his own. A green world, peaceful. Human settlements built into forests and mountains. Children laughing. Soldiers training. Not for war, but for survival. Scientists working in silence deep under the ground. No flags, no emblems, just people, strong and quiet. Then the image shifted. Bombs fell, ships burned. The forest turned black, screams filled the air, and above it all, an Empire banner. The memory ended. Vic stumbled backward, breath short. That world had once been Earth's last colony, hidden, protected. But the Empire found it and erased it. The cube pulsed again. "Why show me this?" Vec whispered. The cube responded not with sound, but with emotion. Responsibility. It was no longer just about survival. Earth had trusted him with its truth, and now it was asking, "What will you do with it?" Vec knew the answer. He opened the new map. Earth had revealed a galaxy-wide network of hidden sites. Tech Earth had buried, waiting to be awakened. Weapons, defenses, healing machines, entire cities under the surface of planets now forgotten. But they were locked, every one, except one, deep in the outer systems, beyond the Empire's reach, was a place called Argos-9. The cube marked it as active. Vec turned to the room's main console. He sent a single message, short, clear, and final. "Assemble a team. We leave tonight." He didn't tell the advisors where they were going. He didn't ask for approval. He didn't need it. 3 hours later, Vic's ship left the capital. With him were 5 people handpicked, not politicians, not generals, just minds he trusted. Taren, the ex-engineer who once built weapons for rebels before he vanished into exile. Lyra, a scientist who studied ancient Earth tech before the Empire banned her. Coral, a quiet pilot who had no home left after border wars. And to Morellen and Juno, one a data analyst, one a field medic. Each of them had been hurt by the Empire in different ways, but each of them still believed in something. They didn't ask many questions. They saw the cube, felt what it carried, and said yes. As they traveled, space grew darker. Signals from the Empire faded. No patrols, no beacons, no help. Argos-9 set far beyond the trade lines, an old mining world, dead for centuries. But as they approached, the ship's systems shifted. Earth was already there. Not in people, not in ships, but in the planet itself. Sensors showed a strange pattern energy. Deep below the surface, signals that matched Earth's lost tech. Shapes under the rock that didn't match any mine, any base, any station. They landed in silence. The planet's air was dry. Its sky was purple, thick with clouds. No buildings, no structures. Just wind, stone, and a long ridge stretching toward the horizon. The cube led them. It pulled Vic forward like a compass. After hours of walking, they reached a flat plain of black rock. Nothing moved, no life, no noise. Then the ground opened. No warning, no sound. Just a perfect circle, parting in silence, revealing a spiral path that led down into the dark. No one spoke. They followed Vic down. The walls were smooth, made of something not metal, not stone. It felt alive. Lights lit automatically as they passed. Air grew warmer. The silence became thicker. Then they entered the chamber. A giant sphere floated in the center, surrounded by 9 thin columns. Each column held a symbol from Earth's ancient languages: Latin, Greek, Old Chinese, Arabic, English. Others Vic didn't even know. And in the center of the sphere, faces, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Frozen in the surface, human, but not quite. It was Earth's archive, not of data, of people, preserved minds, ancient commanders, builders, survivors of Earth's last war. Their memories locked in the core. The cube pulsed again. "You are not the first," it whispered. Everyone stared. "What is this place?" Terran asked. It's where Earth hid its last hope, Vec said quietly. Not a weapon, a guide. The cube glowed brighter, and the sphere began to move. The faces shifted. The chamber filled with light. And then one voice rose from the air. You have arrived. The final sequence begins. Asterisk. The voice echoed through the ancient chamber, calm, powerful, human. You have arrived. The final sequence begins. Vic stepped forward, eyes fixed on the floating sphere. The faces inside were slowly changing, shifting, blinking, waking. These were not recordings. They were consciousnesses, the last living memories of old Earth. Saved during the final days, one of the faces spoke. A woman, her features calm but sharp. I am Commander Rhea, born before the fall, trained to survive after it. Vec's heart pounded. This wasn't a dream. It wasn't a story. He was standing in front of Earth's last minds, real, living, preserved in data for centuries. Rhea continued, this archive was never meant to be found by the Empire. It was meant for those who chose understanding over domination. Vec nodded. I didn't come for control. I came because we're running out of time. Behind him, the team watched in silence. No one dared to interrupt. Rhea's image blinked. Once we know, she said. We have been watching, through the cube, through the choices you made. The sphere pulsed dot, and then, a beam of light skinned Vic's body, slow, smooth, painless. In his mind, he felt a connection, like a door had opened. You were not chosen, Rhea said. You were tested, and now you stand on the edge of something new. Vic lowered his voice. Then tell me, what comes next? The room darkened. Lights around the columns flickered and shifted. The floor beneath them sank a few inches, locking into place. This is not just a memory vault, Rhea said. It is a command center. Buried here is Earth's final system, an AI designed to balance worlds, not rule them. Its name is Helix. It holds the ability to heal planets, or end them. Everyone froze. Terran stepped forward. You're saying, this place could rebuild everything? It could, Rhea said, if used with care, but it could also erase everything, if used with pride. Vec looked at the cube in his hand. It now floated freely, glowing brighter than ever. He didn't feel fear. He felt weight, the kind of weight only leaders truly understood. Why me? He asked. Why not keep it buried forever? Because hiding failed, Rhea said. Earth shut its doors. The galaxy violated the ban. And now, they're begging again. This time, we answer differently. The sphere rose higher than it, broke apart into 9 smaller orbs. Each one floated to a different person in the room. One stopped in front of Vec. This is your key, Rhea said. Each orb carries part of the system. It cannot work unless all are united. Not by force but by choice, Lyra whispered. You mean each of us must agree? Yes, Rhea said. No empire, no single ruler. This system responds only to unity. The team looked at one another. No one rushed. No one argued. Each person stepped forward and touched their orb. One by one, they lit up. And when the 9th orb glowed, a hum filled the air, soft, deep, like a heartbeat. The chamber walls shifted. Maps appeared, star systems, energy lines, dying planets, hidden stations. A full scan of the galaxy. Earth had known, Earth had planned. And now Earth was awake again. Rhea's voice grew softer. You now hold the seed. How it grows is your choice. Then she paused. One warning, she said. Others will come. They will lie. They will offer peace, then bring war. This system can protect you, but only if you protect each other. Vec nodded. We'll be ready. The chamber dimmed. The sphere closed, and Rhea's face faded for the last time. Outside, the wind blew gently over Argos 9's empty surface. The stars above were the same as always, cold, bright, endless. But something had changed. In the heart of the galaxy, Earth's silence had ended. Vec and his team stood at the edge of a new era, not as rulers, not as conquerors, but as caretakers of a truth older than any empire. The message was clear. Humanity had returned. Not to follow, not to kneel, but to remind the galaxy we were never truly gone.